Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
And we're back to the race for the title this weekend. Yeah, football's back, and we can talk about mainly football over the next couple of hours here. And they're back. Kevin Kyle, after Monday night's performance. Despite that, Kevin, you're here. Good to see you. No, great to see you back, big man. He's 6'5", I should remember it. And Mark, Scotland's top pundit, it says in the script, back with us tonight as well. Mark, how refreshing this will be to get back to the football. And what you thinking this weekend? 3, maybe 4 at the top, but there's 3 phenomenal games starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Celtic against Motherwell.
Yeah, it's a brilliant card, Paul. As you say, Celtic Motherwell will be the one that most people will be focusing on. 3 o'clock. Aberdeen, of course, against Falkirk with the Aberdeen's new manager. Hibs Livy trying to get away from the danger zone, and then Hearts will know what they need to do at 8 o'clock tomorrow night at Rugby Park. That's a mouth-watering clash, and then once that's over, one sleep, and we kick into St Mirren Rangers. Of course, no manager at the moment, in Paisley, and a Dundee derby to round off the weekend. So it's one of those weekends, Paul. Now it's hard to imagine Celtic, Rangers and Hearts winning every game now, so there'll be twists in turns. For me, Hearts aren't going away. I'm not saying Hearts are going to win the league, but they're not going away. So the question is, can Celtic and Rangers keep up with them? Will only one of them keep up with them, or will they both fall away? But right now, we know that Hearts are going to be there right to the very end.
Former Rangers and Hearts striker, and Kilmarnock and Sunderland. Kevin, what are you thinking about it? Because what a chance for Celtic psychologically to close the gap for a few hours at least.
Celtic's got an advantage here by having a 3 o'clock kick-off, try to get 3 points on the board before Hearts kick-off at 8 o'clock down at Rugby Park. Sounds simple, but you're playing probably the most attractive looking football team in Scottish football right now in Motherwell, and they certainly won't make it easy for Celtic, especially with, I think, Callum McGregor's out again for Saturday, so it depends who comes in the midfield. Does Bernardo come in instead of McCown? But really, really difficult fixture for Celtic. But saying that, they're at home. I would like to think that gives them a slight advantage. But it's going to be a super tough game. And then you go down the road to Rugby Park, Kilmarnock Hearts. Kilmarnock desperate needing points, so they're not going to make it easy for Hearts. And basically, the top 3 teams chuck in Motherwell with an outside chance. Every game's a cup final from now to the end of the season.
And that's exactly what the manager of your old club, Rangers, is saying. We'll hear from him shortly. I think he says it about 6 times. 9 cup finals to go. And for Danny Rule, it's actually, we're going to hear him and Martin O'Neill. It's good to hear the managers talking again about the football, Kevin, because it's been dominated all week. We'll talk a bit more about the statements from the clubs last night. But Danny Rule, 9 cup finals to go. You'll hear it. He says it so many times. We will hear it shortly, not just yet. That was you. That was your cue. I guess the question is, can they do it 9 times for the Rangers? Because we've just heard that Yusuf Chermiti is the player of the month. And the way he started, January, the game at Celtic, the way he played the other week against Celtic, the first one, you can see why he is player of the month.
I like him. I think he's got a lot of really good attributes. I think he's quick. I think he's strong. Seen some of the finishes he's had. He definitely can finish. I think the frustrating thing from a Rangers point of view is that he's not consistent every week. Some parts you'll get this 15-20 million pound footballer, and in other weeks you'll get the guy that's just turned up, and you're like, right, so he needs to find consistency in the game, and I think if he can find consistency in his game regularly every week, he won't beat Rangers. That's the reality. That's my honest opinion.
So they could make money on him.
Oh, definitely. And I think if an offer comes in this summer, I think Rangers would take that offer, depending on how much it is. But he has the potential and the attributes to be a really top striker. I know your man Thelwell that brought him in took a hell of a lot of stick and ended up succumbing to his job, but you can kind of see what he saw, and it's the same with Fernandes, who obviously had a slow start as well. Sure. These guys are showing glimpses of what they're capable of doing. It's now finding consistency, and if they can find consistency, especially in front of goal, then who's to say that Rangers can't win 9 games?
Up against St Mirren, of course, with the manager has gone to Aberdeen. Talk about that again in a moment or two. And it's Craig McLeish and Jimmy Langfield who'll be in charge of your old club. What a chance for Rangers tomorrow. The shortest journey, the shortest away game, isn't it, in Scottish football? Just a few miles along the M8. Mark, what are you thinking about this one? And in Chermiti in particular, player of the month.
I mean, I'm not. Chermiti's got player of the month, Paul. I take it that's just for the hat trick against Hearts, because they played Celtic in March the 1st.
That's right. Yeah.
When he got the 2 Belton goals. So, and he missed a really good chance at Motherwell during the month of February to put Rangers 2 ahead, I think, unless I'm mistaken. So I'm not quite getting the voting, to be perfectly honest. And I'm taking nothing away from Chermiti because he scored a hat-trick against Hearts, but are we giving it play of the months for one game now? I don't know.
Maybe it was, if it had been a leap year, he would have been, because that would have been the 29th of February.
Aye, listen, I'm taking nothing away from him.
Yeah.
And I can't see why March the 1st would be included in the February play of the month. If it's March the 1st is included, then I totally understand why. However, slightly surprised I'm getting player of the month. But he's got to go and find it, Paul, on Sunday afternoon. He is Rangers' main striker. He's the number 1 striker. He's a guy that they're looking to go and try and file him to the title. And as Danny Rule has said today, and he said after the loss to Celtic on Sunday in the Scottish Cup tie, it's 9 cup finals. Between now and May the 16th, Rangers have got 9 games to go. If they win those 9 games, Paul, I think they'll be champions. So Danny Rule has laid down the gauntlet to his players, win our 9 games, and for me, Rangers getting to 84 points. 84 points would win Rangers the title. So let's go and see if they can do it. They've only got 3 wins out of the last 8 games. They've been away to Livingston, they've not won. They've been away to Hibs, they've not won. They've been away to Motherwell, they've not won. They're now going to St Mirren. You would fancy them, but Rangers really need to up their game, especially in the final third.
Well, we'll hear from the 2 managers then of the big 2. We're going to hear from Derek McInnes as well, a West of Scotland boy who could well be lifting the title in just a couple of months' time. What another weekend. I mean, every single game is going to be so crucial. Let's get the update from Martin O'Neill then on Kieran Tierney and his captain.
Kieran's Callum still he will miss the game, and but Kieran's in better shape, and he'll be there.
And the captain, Callum McGregor's injury?
No, I think it's a calf strain. It's and we're hopeful, pretty hopeful. He's done very well in recovery, and we'd be hopeful for him for next week.
And he's so vital, isn't he, Mark? Callum McGregor.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance it'll be back for the Dundee game a week on Sunday, but it's certainly not available tomorrow, and it is about the here and now. Motherwell will come despite their defeat last Saturday at Dens Park. Motherwell will come full of confidence. What I've liked about Motherwell, Paul, is they just go out, they play with great freedom. They play as if there's no weight in their shoulders. As you look at Celtic, Hearts and Rangers, you feel as if they've got a title race on their shoulders. Motherwell, of course, won't have Stephen Welsh tomorrow, so they'll need to juggle their backline. But looking at the quality that Motherwell have middle to front, they've got 5 really good players from their 2 holding mids, 2 centre mids to the 3 that go beyond them. Motherwell could very easily go to Celtic Park and win the game tomorrow. Celtic will need to be bang on it. And again, I'm talking about Rangers in the final third. It's the same with Celtic. Celtic haven't had a number 9 worthy of the jersey all season, and they need to find one between now and the middle of May if they are going to win the title. Because likewise with Celtic, if Celtic win every game, they'll be champions, Paul. 85 points will win you the title for me. So it's all there, and it all starts tomorrow.
Would you agree with that, Kevin? If whoever wins every single game will be the...
Aye, definitely. I think on an Old Firm point of view, definitely the 9 games, but also I still believe that Hearts, the 4 games that they've got from now to the split, if they can get 12 points racked up, I think when the split then occurs, I think it might be a big ask for the 2 Old Firm teams to catch Hearts if Hearts can win the 4 games before. But like Mark said there, Motherwell is not a straightforward victory tomorrow for Celtic. What I will take confidence in is that Celtic's defensive display at Ibrox on Sunday was outstanding. So they need to be like that at the weekend, but they need to find something in that final third. They need to take opportunities. They're not going to get a lot of opportunities, so when they do them, I think they need to start the game fast. They need to press quicker. They need to work harder than the Motherwell players. It's the only way you can combat this style of play, because if you sit off for a minute, Motherwell will just pick pockets of space and they'll really, really hurt you. You need to work harder than them, and you need to be on your game from the word go, and if you're not, you'll get punished by this side.
It's a game to look forward to, Mark, isn't it? Even from a football point of view.
Yeah, Celtic Park tomorrow, really, really exciting game. The Motherwell fans will travel to Celtic Park as well to back their team, still believing that they've got a chance. If not, they can certainly have a big say in where the title does go. But you look at Majwanishi, you look at Saeed, you look at Just, you look at Fadinger, you look at Elliot and Elliot Watt.
Of course.
They're all really good players, and they want to go to a venue like Celtic Park and showcase their talents. Because with the greatest respect, those guys, 5 of those guys could all end up away in the summer. Motherwell could get money for them, and they'll be looking to get as good offers as possible. So Motherwell can go there, led by their captain Paul McGinn, who's been absolutely outstanding. He's been absolutely outstanding this season. Really has, on and off the park. He's been terrific. And the biggest thing that Askew has instilled in these players since he took over in the summer: don't play with any fear. Just go and enjoy yourself. Follow your instructions, and we won't be far away from a victory.
Oh, let's hear Martin and you'll speak then about Motherwell.
Oh, really tough game. Absolutely. They've had a fantastic time. A bit of a setback there last week at Dundee, but really have been the proverbial breath of fresh air for the SPL. It's been terrific. They played really well, and they play matches without any real fear. It's great, and it's been terrific for them. They've been terrific. Hearts have been great this season, and I also think that Falkirk have been terrific as well. So, but from our immediate opponents, Motherwell, a real difficult game for us.
More from Martin and Neil shortly. Celtic fans, Motherwell fans, give us a call. 0808 17 17 700. Kevin Kyle is with us, along with Mark Guidi. Let's hear from Danny Rowe then. First up, the team news for Sunday's game at Paisley.
Dio will be not available. He got a small shoulder injury. All the other players also far so good. I've then to make some decisions with the squad, but Dio is the only one who is not available.
Kevin, just Diomande again injured.
Yeah, he seems to get in the team, then he's out the team, and then he's getting injured. He's not really getting a run of games to try and find that form that made him a prominent player in the squad. But this happens. Rangers have got I think they've got a great squad in depth. They've obviously got Raskin there that's doing well again. So he'll be a miss, but I don't think he's a huge miss. I don't think when he's played to his maximum this season, I don't think he's been where he's been. Some of his last season, I think his levels were higher. That's being honest. So Rangers will adapt. He came off Sunday. Obviously, that must have been an injury, but I didn't feel in the game the first kind of half he didn't really impact it too much. So it gives somebody else an opportunity, and Rangers will be fine without him.
Let's hear a bit more from Danny Rowe speaking about the title race now.
It's not the extra pressure because our demanding is still in the league to win the 9 cup finals. We have to start on Sunday, and then it's game by game now. Let's see. At first we have 4 games before we go in the split. We need a good position, and then in the split I think everything is possible, because this is also part. When you look to our results, we took a lot of good points against the teams around us, and this should be then our goal.
And Kevin, of course, there's such a gap between St Mirren and Rangers points-wise, and Rangers really need to get 3 points on Sunday, or probably the realistic chance of winning the title would be gone.
It definitely would. This is the kind of fixture that Rangers, that they've kept themselves in the title race from how far they were behind in the initial period. But these are the types of games that Rangers probably should go and win on paper because of where St Mirren and how their form has been since the cup final. But it's also the type of game where Rangers don't go and win. They're notorious for it. They get themselves in and then they'll go and draw with like Livingston that they did 2-2 after being 2-0 down. And it won't be easy, because I'm not saying that St Mirren are fighting for their lives, but they're down at the bottom and they will know what's happened the night before with Kilmarnock. And if Hearts are able to take care of Kilmarnock, St Mirren would look at that opportunity and think, well, if we can get something from the Rangers game, that gives us a lot more breathing space ahead of Kilmarnock. Yeah. So it's a huge game for both teams in terms of the ends of the table. I still think that Rangers would have enough to beat St Mirren, but the reality is that they've got Jamie Langfield there and Craig McLeish that's come in to help out. You don't know how the players are going to react to them. It's it's as if it's like a new manager bounce. Maybe we don't know what was going on behind the scenes at St Mirren with Stephen Robinson. Maybe did the players have enough of Stephen? We don't know. We're just guessing or making an assumption. But the reality is that these players might give Jamie Langfield and Craig McLeish a bounce tomorrow on Sunday, and St Mirren might get something out of the game, and then Rangers find themselves in that chasing pack that it might just be too much for them.
Mark, 2 things on Rangers. Well, one, Rangers won St Mirren. With Rangers, they came off the back of their best performance, the win over Hearts, and then it was the Livingston game, and they were 2-0 down with not that long to go. What Rangers turns up on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean they managed to get a point out that game, Paul. They get back to 2-2. But you look at Rangers, they've played 29 league games. They've had 12 draws. It's far too many. You know, you look at, for example, like those last 2 away games, Motherwell and Livingston. Now, Livingston have won one game. One game all season. That was back in August. Motherwell were down to 10 men. They still got a point now. There's 4 points dropped in out of those 2 games the past month. Had they won those 2 games, and they should have, you're on 61. You're right. You're breathing down Hearts next, and you're ahead of Celtic. So there's too many draws on the road. It's not been good enough. But like they say, Paul, they are still in with a chance of winning the title. I think it's unlikely that Rangers will win the title. But as Danny Rule has said, all they have to focus on, same with Hearts, Celtic will still get the Scottish Cup, 9 cup finals, and if they win every game, they'll be champions.
And looking at St Mirren, if Killie beat, I mean, no matter what happens, they're too close to the bottom for comfort. The manager's just gone. Do you agree? You feel it was time for Stephen Robinson to go? Something had changed this year, this calendar year, hadn't it? Maybe it was the speculation about this job, which came up in in January, that he might be going, and it didn't happen. They've made such a botch of it, Aberdeen.
It's an embarrassment for Aberdeen. It really is. You know, the search, the way they've gone about the search. So Stephen Robinson was available after he won a cup, beat Celtic in the cup final. He was more attractive then than he is now. But Aberdeen have got, and nothing wrong, because I said the other night, he's got a great body of work. You know, you look at his managerial CV, he's got a really good body of work. But he should have been in at Motherwell 3 months ago. They've dillied and they've dallied. Right time to leave St Mirren, because he can't do any more. He's got him into top 6. He's won a cup. He's been there 4 years. Sometimes players need a fresh voice. Sometimes a manager needs a new challenge as well. So it's all about timing, and the timing's right, I think, for all parties. He'll get Aberdeen out the road, because that was an embarrassment at East End Park last week against Dunfermline. Take nothing away from Neil Lennon, these players. However, for Aberdeen, and that's forced the issue. That's forced Dave Cormack to take action. And it's also, I think, if you're Fennenstiel, the German, who's been trying to get Germans into the job, he's probably, his nose will be out of joint a bit with this. So the dynamics of that. And Stephen Robinson will not have got in there unless he's got guarantees that he's the guy, not Fennenstiel. He's the guy. Once you see how that works out. And
he's got a 3-year contract. You know, 3 years.
Well weighed in.
Of course, because Dave Cormack has been, it has been a bit of a disaster. And it's so, these days, you don't get much time as a manager, do you? And the fans are given, you know, if he'd come straight from a League Cup win over Celtic and 3 top 6 places 3 years running, then I think they would have accepted him right away. But they're now looking, thinking, his team's third bottom of the table. So he's trading. I saw somebody saying it could be Jurgen Klopp could be coming. I think it was maybe Stephen himself said, and some people wouldn't be happy. You've kind of got to just stay off the social media, haven't you, and go out and do you think he will do a good job?
I hope he does a good job, because I think he's, however this has come about, how he's ended up being the Aberdeen manager, I think he's earned the right to be a manager at a bigger club as such in Scottish football. Like Mark said, the fact he won a cup final against Celtic, his stock was at its highest, and Aberdeen still didn't find the moment to pick up the phone and say, St Mirren, could we talk to your manager? His stock's probably a tad lower, and whatever that may be, that's maybe just the honeymoon period after the cup final. Have the players believe, do the players at St Mirren believe they're better than what they are? Is that the reason why they're sitting third bottom? Whereas what Stephen Robinson will go in, he'll go into Aberdeen, and there's a couple of players on loan there, like Lyle Cameron from Rangers, right? They've got Stuart Armstrong, they've got Kevin Nisbet, right? So there's a little core of Scottish players in there who'll get it, who'll understand it. He'll probably work closely with those 3 guys and say, can we get you 3 to get the rest of this group going with the help of me and Brian Kerr, my assistant? And I can see Aberdeen turn it around, and if they turn it around, 9 games, could Aberdeen win 4 games out of 9, maybe pick up a couple of draws, and then they go into the summer with something, optimism, something to build on, and then can Aberdeen come back and be a Hearts or a Motherwell or a Hibs next year? Because that's where they should be in reality.
Gary's on saying, Mark, who's going to be the new manager of St Mirren? Who is it going to be? Now, we've talked about some of the runners and riders. I see. What do you think,
they're also going to take their time. Keith Lasley says, you know, they'll do an extensive search, and rightly so. I mean, they are the third bottom. They might need to, you know, get somebody in the door for next week. They might leave it. Paul, obviously, we get the international break coming up, so it kind of gives them a bit of breathing space. I don't know what they'll be thinking. I mentioned Stephen McGinn the other night, who's a St Mirren legend, who's been on the staff there. He will have learned loads off of John McGlynn this season. But is it maybe a wee bit too soon for Stephen? It might be, might not be. Out with that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they would do.
See Charlie Adam threw his hat in the ring. Stephen Naismith's been mentioned.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Stevens. I think Stephen would need to give up his international work and the prospect. He's still a young man going to the World Cup with Steve Clark as part of his staff. I don't think Stephen would give that up. And really, if you're getting in as a manager at a football club, you can't spend half the summer away at the World Cup. It just doesn't work. You need to show proper commitment to your day-to-day employer. So for me, that would rule Stephen Naismith out. So to answer your question, Paul, I'm not really sure, but they certainly won't be short of applicants. It's a really exciting job. It
sure is. And Jim Gillespie just leaving to go to Rangers as chief exec. He's the chief exec. They're going. What were you thinking, Kevin? You were going to say there about the job?
I think with the St Mirren job, you have to look at the squad that they have now and the way they've played under Stephen Robinson. So if you brought in a Stephen McGinn, who obviously I've listened to on your show and comes across really well, he might be one of these young managers that want to go down the type of style like Motherwell, passing, possession, stuff like that. Do St Mirren have those types of players in the building now that can adapt to that straight away?
Good point.
Or do they go down the route of let's get somebody until the end of the season that can work with the players we have in the style that we've been playing? Or do the players want a change of style and play? So there's all these things to ask, but obviously Charlie Adams chucked his name in, but Charlie would chuck his hat into any job that comes up.
And who can blame him?
Quite right, absolutely. I think he's coaching away there at Burnley, the under 18. So fair play to Charlie, but no, I think that St Mirren will take their time over this and get the right appointment, hopefully.
Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. We're going on the lines next.
Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Good news, the game is on tonight. So the night game, of course, being Morton against Partick Thistle. We love our Friday night football. More on that shortly. Let's go on the line. Stevie is on. Hi, Stevie. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Yeah, we're good. Living the dream with Kevin here and Mark.
How you doing?
Guys, I'm on just to run an idea past you to try and help the businesses that lost their livelihood at Central Station.
Yes.
With a charity game. So the idea that I've been asking obviously about the last few days, so the idea I've got is obviously the Go Radio pundits versus Super Scoreboard pundits for the amount of time it took the firemen to put the fire out, maybe like a wee five-a-side-a-thon, and all the money goes to like the businesses. So I know a lot of them have got GoFundMe pages and charity pages and that, so I didn't know about Kevin and all that, and obviously he's well connected with other guys. I mean, would they like to get involved? Do they think it's something that people would get behind?
I think that's Stevie, I think that's a great idea. Don't get me wrong, if you ask me to play, you're a man down straight away, right? But
steady.
You're a man down with my hips. But no, I think if you were able to get that out there, I think a lot of ex-footballers or whatever would be happily to get on board with something like that. And even if the fire guys, I'm pretty sure most of the firemen that help put the fire out would be into like football, the opportunity maybe to play with a hero or somebody they've watched on TV, whatever. I think they would love that. And
Hugh Keevins.
I'd put Hugh Keevins up in the part. I'm quite happy to do that.
Mrs. Keevins would as well.
But no, Steve, I think that's a great idea, mate, and I would be on board with that. I would be happy to help if I could in any way.
Kevin, it's a good shout. Mark, what do you think? I mean, people are rallying around. Thankfully nobody was injured, and well done to the firemen and women who are still there. Certainly yesterday they were. But good idea there from Stevie.
Yeah, I mean, anything that can bring a bit of cheer and a bit of positivity back to which was a horrible situation, as you said, Paul. The main thing was thankfully nobody lost their life, but it's still a big thing for the city of Glasgow and the kind of ripple effect that brings to the city, and for people who'll be losing their livelihoods for a while. So it's a good shout, Stevie. If you get it going, then give us a shout. We'll get involved.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking, obviously, maybe Lesser Hampden, maybe like the week before the Scotland team are due to go to the World Cup. They're camping that and just to try and help out, because I know nobody was actually physically harmed, but financially they were harmed, guys, if that makes sense.
Of course. No, we've had some of the hairdresser, the chap was on here on Go Radio News. Joe, Louise in our newsroom have been speaking to them as well. Yeah, look, I think that's a good idea. If it raises any money, I think that's the thing, rather than just to do it, Stevie, for the sake of it.
It's all right losing your business and having insurance and stuff that'll cover it, but we all know that insurance doesn't pay out the next day, so there has a process and stuff. So these businesses will not be able to survive through this period, so any sort of help would be massive, and I think it's a great idea, Stevie.
I remember we did it years ago when I was there, and we had a Rangers Celtic game at Ibrox, and it was former stars. I remember the late great Tommy Burns, for example, playing, and the Rangers team, I'm trying to think who was it, Mark Haitley played, and I think we had 40,000 at the game, Mark. It was huge, and it raised 100 grand for Cash for Kids. So look, Stevie, we'll the
idea, Paul, behind it is to make that date more memorable for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So, and it's to show the world, not been the people of Glasgow, I mean, like the true people of Glasgow. Yeah. I mean, rather than the pictures that went out on Sunday. So, to me, I just think this would be a great example for us to go, listen, these people are facing adversity, and we're all going to get behind them, because that's what we do in Glasgow. Yeah. Obviously, we've got Commonwealth Games coming as well, guys. But I just wanted, obviously, to run it by the guys. I mean, and then see, if anybody wants to get in touch with me and try and help me get it organised, get it off the ground. Yeah. I'm not only one man, that means, so the more people that get behind it, and obviously the callers coming in tonight with their thoughts and feedbacks, and if anybody's got any ideas. Just for volunteering on the day, Paul. Yeah,
I mean, people in Glasgow and the West are the most generous. We know with the Kilt Walk, I've been lucky enough. My time at Cash for Kids, I still go to the lunch. It's just phenomenal. I mean, there's nowhere in the country, in the UK, raises money for great causes like the people in Glasgow and the West. And, a lot of people here need it as well. We're not necessarily the wealthiest part of the world, but there's nothing like Glasgow. And you make a great point. We were on all the news, ITN, Sky, BBC, everything, and it's about the bad news. And we were absolutely let down by some morons. Absolute morons. It was good to see the clubs come out yesterday. I noticed Brian Wilson said he was a bit surprised that the Chief Constable came out and criticised the two clubs. If there was an easy solution with words, this would have come decades ago, a century ago. It's a very difficult issue. But look, the goodness in Glasgow, Stevie, I applaud that. And look, we'll see if we can take that further. And I dare say give Gordon a call at Clyde and see what they're saying. So, Old Station, the programme that I'm very proud that I started along with Richard Park all those years ago, it was our idea. And I wish I owned the rights to it. Do you know what, Stevie? Imagine I'd owned the rights to that one, eh? It would have been.
You'd be doing Go Radio for Tenerife, mate.
Exactly. Just don't put me up against Gordon. He's a few years younger, I would imagine. But anyway, listen. What about for the weekend then? You're a big Celtic fan. Tomorrow's game, I take it you're going to be there. Looking forward to this.
Well, I'm more interested that Harry Redknapp taking the Spurs job, mate. Not me, no, but I'm hoping, obviously, like Celtic can get back. I'm not saying get back in the race, guys, but if we can just keep maintaining. Obviously, we've got some tough games. Surprised that Stephen Robinson leaving St Mirren, not me, no. So, but
are you? Seriously?
I'm really surprised, honestly. It's something, obviously, I coach football, guys.
I know you do.
You say yourself, when you look at the two different teams and you sit and go, he's already bagged a cup. Yeah. He's in the semis. Another cup. So, yes, know what I mean? So you say to yourself, well, do you know what? My Jacob's thrown a solid nail. My credibility as a manager is pretty good here. Why would I take it off and put it on a shaky nail? Know what I mean? Where I need to prove
he's backing him. He's backing himself. Kevin, what would you say?
I can kind of see Stevie's point, but I'm struggling to understand it. If you look at what you're saying, semi-final, a second cup, potentially to beat Celtic and end up maybe in a final against Falkirk or Dunfermline, huge. End up might be a cup double. Only Callum Davison did that outside the Old Firm, right? But if he doesn't beat Celtic and his team get dragged into a relegation fight and he ends up getting St Mirren relegated, I don't think Aberdeen are going to get relegated. I think they have got enough points ahead that I think they're safe. So there's obviously it's hindsight and opinions, but I think the Aberdeen job going forward long term has more prospects for Stephen Robinson to succeed as a manager. I think what he's done at St Mirren is the peak in terms of a top 6 place from season to season, the odd cup here and there. I think that's the maximum. Whereas with Aberdeen, the way the Old Firm have been this year, if Aberdeen had got their something together, then Aberdeen could have been in a title race this year, but they didn't. So for me, there's more potential with Aberdeen than there is with St Mirren.
Mark, what do you feel?
Paul, it's about timing, Stevie, and the timing's right for Stevie Robinson to move on. He's probably been thinking, I'll get my move after I've won the cup. I'll get a bit of interest and I'll go, because he's got a good body of work before that. He's then only won 2 games in 3 months, and he's maybe thinking, oh, is that my chance gone? Aberdeen have stepped in. The beauty of it for him as well, all the wee different things it makes a decision. So, what do you call him? Alan Burrows is the chief executive at Aberdeen. Stephen worked with him at Motherwell. So right away, there you go. You've got somebody in authority that's got your back. He's been given a 3.5-year deal, and I would imagine that Stephen, given Aberdeen's circumstances, Stephen would have found himself in the driving seat when it came to negotiation. So he's landed a 3.5-year deal. He'll have an excellent exit package, as all managers do now. The first thing they ask is not what my weekly wage is, what's my exit package, because ultimately they probably end up getting sacked, although Stephen's not been sacked at St Mirren because he's done a good job. So I hear what you're saying, but the timing for Stephen Robinson as an individual is absolutely the right moment to go and get a hold of a football club that's on its knees at the moment, absolutely on its knees, because you take the Scottish Cup victory away from Aberdeen that they got in May against Celtic in penalty kicks. Look at the league record over the past 12 months. It's absolutely appalling. It's appalling. So he'll go there, drag them by the scruff of the neck with Brian Kerr and get them going again.
All right, Stevie, listen, thank you for that call, and we'll maybe speak to you during the week. Thanks, Stevie. Cheers, thank you. And yeah, I love that, though, all different opinions, but also the money, which, you know, he's still relatively young man. He wants to earn as much as he can in the game, and the Aberdeen thing, I would imagine it would be double or whatever that they can pay at St Mirren. St Mirren's a brilliantly run club, great respect for it, but Aberdeen, St Mirren would be 7,000-8,000, Aberdeen 17, 18, 19,000 every other week. So, and it is a big club. I think a lot, Stevie knows his football, of course he'll remember that as well. But hey, what do we think? What about the big two here? We're going to hear actually the big two, what we're going to be saying next season. And maybe, is it Hearts and Celtic? Is it Hearts and Rangers? I mean, it'll always be us on the Go Radio Football Show with the big two. But I don't know if we can say that. Shall we hear from, are they champions elect? No, we can't say that yet, can we? But listen, here's Derek McInnes ahead of the game tomorrow at, well, his old stomping ground at Kilmarnock.
Our away record's been pretty strong. Our home record's been different class. We're winning games different ways, but we've got to always remember that we don't think we're wholly better than anybody else. Every game's a challenge for us, and every game needs our full attention, and Saturday's no different.
He doesn't get carried away, does he, Kevin? Have you been impressed by him?
I've always been impressed with Derek McInnes. I'm actually glad that he got that Hearts job and he got it, because we'll go back to Aberdeen. Mark's saying a shambles. They've been a shambles probably ever since he left, and yet the Aberdeen fans wanted Derek McInnes at their club because then they liked the style of football he was playing.
And maybe it was time to go.
Listen, there's
8 years.
Absolutely. But when you're winning the odd cup final, finishing second behind Celtic in the times that Rangers maybe weren't in the league, for me that would probably have been deemed quite good as an Aberdeen fan. They would swap that right now for what's happening now. But anyway, things have moved on. Derek's went away to different clubs and has now found himself in a position at Hearts, and he probably, when that opportunity arrived, he thought, oh wow, this is because Hearts, I've been there, I've played for the club, that's a proper football club, a great set of fans, a well backed and a well run club. And Derek has come in there, bought some players of his own liking, i.e. Stuart Finlay, who came in who didn't fit the Jamestown model, but Derek's going with his eyes and trusts. Stuart Finlay's been great. He's obviously injured now, which is a blow. Coupled in with some players they've got from the Tony Bloom model, along with the experience of guys like Craig Halkett, Cammy Devon to the middle, Lawrence Shackleton's up front, the core of your team right through the middle, guys like Craig Gordon on the sideline with experience. Hearts have got that right recipe to be doing what they're doing. And it's no surprise for me that they're top of the league, because I think when I played with Hearts 2010-11 season, I looked at it this year. We were sitting, I think, maybe second or third with 42 points at the beginning of January. We had more points in less games than Hearts did this time round. But we tailed off because we couldn't maintain it, because Celtic and Rangers had good players. Rangers had Jelavic and they had proper players. I think it was Kyle Lafferty. I'm buoyed up for it, I can't remember. Celtic had good squads, so their strength and depth carried on. Whereas this time round, Celtic and Rangers don't have that strength and depth. And people can say, oh, it's been a poor Celtic, it's a poor Rangers. Hearts have still had to maintain that consistency over the course and distance of this season, and they're doing it well. It's theirs to lose. That's the reality. You might not want to hear that, but it's theirs to lose. But in the position that they're in, they've got somebody capable and hungry to see them over the line, and I think Derek McInnes might just do it. And if he does, I think it'll probably be one of the greatest league title victories, and more deserving so for Derek McInnes for what he's put into Scottish football. That's how I feel about it. I think he's done an incredible job. We'll put a statue for him.
Oh, absolutely. Mark, the Go Radio listeners love the way you work it out, in terms of numbers. What are you thinking with Hearts then? What numbers are you looking at for Hearts to get it? I get it if they win every game, but they've got that gap at the moment.
Yeah, they've all got 9 games to go. They've all got 27 points to achieve. Obviously, they all can't get 27 points. Okay. Only one of them could get that. I don't think any of them will get it. I can't see Hearts losing a 5-point lead over Celtic, a 6-point lead over Rangers. I just can't see it. I think Hearts can afford 2 defeats and a draw. I think 82 points, Paul. I always thought 84. I always thought 84 would get you. But now, I think if you can get 82 would make you the champions. And if what Kevin pointed out, 4 games before the split, starting tomorrow night at Rugby Park. If Hearts win all 4 games, and I don't think they will, but if Hearts win all 4 games, Paul, they will absolutely be champions. They just need to just keep it going after the split. But if Derek gets into the split on 75 points, that technically means he would probably only need 2 wins out the 5 games. And I get it. They've got Rangers at Tynecastle. They need to go to Celtic Park. And they've got an Edinburgh derby. They've got Motherwell and Falkirk won't be easy. But nor will it be for Celtic or Rangers. So they'll all drop points. But I think Hearts will do enough to be champions. That said it on Wednesday night, and I'll kind of stick with it, despite the lack of quality. But for me, it's a Martin O'Neill factor. If Celtic win tomorrow, if they beat Motherwell, I think Celtic could do it. I think Celtic could hunt Hearts down and win the title.
Wow.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Fascinating, isn't it? We've never seen it with 4 teams in there. 3 of them definitely, because the top of the table, as you know, with 9 games to go. Hearts on 63, Celtic on 58, Rangers on 57, Motherwell on 53, and then Hibs on 46 and Falkirk on 42. That's the top 6, and that will be the top 6. Dundee United on 33 and Dundee on 31. We've got the Dundee derby at the weekend. Aberdeen on 29, St Mirren on 24, Kelly on 21 and Livingston on 14. We're going to get the score predictor in the second hour. Scott will be joining us. So from Annan, so it's not too far from your neck. It's a bit, isn't it? It's a bit. I know.
It's a trek, but it's in the same. What is it? Region of Friesland.
That's right. Yeah, indeed. I used to work at West Sound, Southwest Sound. So people would say, "Oh, is that the borders?" No, it's not at all. The Southwest. Yeah,
Annan's lovely.
Yeah.
Cammy Bale, he's Annan, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Yeah, big Cammy. Yeah, another goalkeeper like Mark was. Did you ever come up against Mark when he was St Mirren and Albion Rovers?
No, not at all. Yeah. Mark's way older than I ever was.
Steady. Aidan McGeady was with us the other day, so we're radio Sunderland AFC Sunderland, because of course he's much loved there as well. So you really enjoyed your time there.
I loved it. Yeah. The best days of my life.
Stadium of Light.
Stadium of Light, yeah. It was there the very first year they erected it. And 1998, they finished top of the league with 105 points to get promoted to the Premier League. Guy.
What was that like from Roker Park? Were you ever back at Roker?
I didn't ever see Roker.
Right, okay.
Our digs, old school digs, we lived in a house with 20 guys. Yeah. 5 from Dublin, 2 from Belfast, me from Stranraer and 12 from the local area.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's some stories for that house.
But you still go back down to
I do.
Sunderland, not to that house, but
No,
yeah,
no.
well, maybe you do. Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I still go back down. I was invited down 2 weeks ago for hospitality. Went to Sunderland, Fulham. I had to do the boxes and the chairman's suite and all that.
Great. Did you wear the tie, the red and white?
No, I didn't. I just went casual, nice pair of trousers and a
Yeah.
shirt and jumper.
Not like tonight.
No,
I'm
dress.
kidding.
Paul, fashion's lost on me. So
Snap.
I didn't know what to say, but
No, on you go. Yeah.
but no, it's listen, I love it.
Great.
It was amazing.
Who was your manager? You got 105 points.
Peter Reid was the manager.
Of course.
Uh,
They loved him there, didn't they?
Scariest man in football.
Was he?
Aye,
Yeah.
5'2", but what a voice. He was Peter Reid, and then it was Mick McCarthy. No, Howard Wiltonson came in.
Of course. Yeah.
Peter then Mick McCarthy, and then Roy Keane turned up the day that I decided to leave.
Is that why you left?
No,
No.
I was offered a 2-year deal. Mick offered Niall Quinn was the chairman, stroke manager. Offered me less money than what I was on, and I thought, no, I'm going to be greedy and go elsewhere. And I went
He'd seen you play.
and I'd went to Coventry, and as they say,
Yeah.
you get sent to Coventry. So
yeah.
that saying has never been truer.
Mind you, they're coming back, probably.
They're coming back,
yeah.
right? They are.
Yeah.
They're doing very well at the top of the table in the Championship. Frank Lampard's doing a great job.
Sure is. Right, let's get back to thank you, Radio Sunderland, for that one. But no, listen, it is brilliant. Our listeners like to hear all the different behind the scenes, behind the curtain, Mark. Yeah, so you're sitting there thinking something tonight. I don't know what it is. There's definitely something in your mind. I think you're about to give and there, you said just before the break, if Celtic beat Motherwell tomorrow, you think Celtic will win or could win. Is it will or could? What would you say?
Hey. They could win it even if they don't win it. So I need to say they will win it. I think though they would. I think Hearts are in the driving seat, Paul. Genuinely in the driving seat. Clear favourites. But if Celtic win tomorrow, I've just got that kind of feeling. On the back of the 4 really tough away games, I mean, to come through those 4 away games, 2 Ibrox, 1 in Stuttgart, 1 at Pittodrie, with 3 wins and a draw, it's quite incredible. And one of the biggest things that's happened out of that for me, in terms of me saying that Celtic will win the title if they win tomorrow, is the change in goalkeeper. Yeah. I don't think they'd ever have won the title with Kasper Schmeichel in goals, and I say that with the greatest of respect. They're a wonderful professional. However, he's been off form this season. Sinisalo, very, very able goalkeeper. And again, if you look at turning points, if Celtic did go on to win the league, that save at Pittodrie at 1-1 was an exceptional save.
Yep.
And you could pinpoint something like that. As Hearts, if they win the league, they would think back to Dens Park, to Craig Gordon's outstanding save in the last minute. Those wee moments. So I think, I think Celtic could do it.
Well, you mentioned Kasper Schmeichel. The manager, Martin O'Neill, was asked today about the Danish international legend.
And Kasper's he's much better now. He doesn't feel he trained today, and he didn't feel. His shoulder is feeling much better after the injection.
That's good to hear. But we've Sinisalo, obviously, tomorrow, who said, don't write us off. I see he's in the media today. Martin O'Neill was asked today, could this be the springboard after the 4 away games so successful? Springboard to success?
No, I don't think the atmosphere has needed lifting. I think, if anything, I think the result on at Wednesday at Aberdeen probably give us that lift to go to Ibrox and try and get a result. So no, I think the players are pretty buoyant and have been now for some time. Obviously, during the course of weeks that if you didn't get a result as we didn't against Hibs, there's just a natural deflation, and but you have to try and overcome that as soon as possible. And I think we've done that. So
he was talking obviously about the atmosphere at the club after, the games in recent days. Tomorrow's game, he talked about Motherwell earlier, and everyone realises how huge this is.
Crucial in every aspect, because you're running out of games. We couldn't afford to. If I looked at it really properly, I don't think that we could drop too many points and still think that you could possibly win the league. It would be very difficult to do that with the games running down.
Danny Rule was asked about, recent away form.
Yeah, I think general, for me it doesn't matter if it's away or home. I think this is key. We always want to control the game, dominate the game, want to take points, and this is our job on Sunday.
And confidence in the team, what does he feel about the players? How are they?
Yeah, we beat also Celtic, we beat also Hibs, we beat also Motherwell, and we beat also Hearts. And I think it makes me very positive that we can do this again.
I guess, Kevin, he's saying, look, we've beaten all the major teams in the league, 9 games to go, do it again.
Yeah, definitely, because as a manager, you have to believe that. If you don't believe that, there's no point in turning up. But I think from now to the end of the season, what we're going to see from the all 3 teams is we're not going to see pretty football. We're not going to see games that are like entertaining and whatever. What we're going to see is teams going out there trying to just get a result. We're now in a position where it's a result-based business, and all that matters is a result. Sunday's performance by Celtic at Rangers, you could say, was admirable from a defensive point of view, but in terms of quality, attacking, non-existent. Would Celtic have that same performance tomorrow and take 3 points? Absolutely. I don't think the Celtic fans at this point care how they're performing. I think the reality is they need 3 points, and probably the same would be for Rangers. I then would go to Hearts. Hearts have won a lot of games differently. Sure. There's been times where they've played some lovely football and it's been great, and there's been times where they've grinded out a result, a 1-0 win, whatever, and that's important. So, and then what ends up happening, Paul, which I don't think anybody's talking about, as we get closer to the less games to be able to play, how do certain individuals, certain teams, certain managers handle that pressure? Because right now everybody's thinking, I think if Celtic draw tomorrow, I still think they're in a title race. Yep. If Rangers were to draw on Sunday, I think maybe it's a step too far. Do Hearts, when they get to 3, 4, 5 games left of the season, they split and they've maybe lost one beforehand, do they start to question? So there's a mentality side of it as well that's not been factored in. It's all right saying, Hearts will beat Dundee, Hearts will beat Kilmarnock on Saturday night, then they'll beat Dundee, then they've got Livingston, which is another, I think, straightforward game. But these games aren't straightforward.
Right. Rangers thought it was straightforward a few weeks ago.
And then they've got Motherwell just before the split.
Yep.
That's why when I said the earlier, Mark, about if Hearts could get 12 points out of the next 4 games, the 3 games are Kilmarnock, Dundee, then Livingston. Top of the table against those 3, you would fancy 9 points. Then you go into a game at Motherwell away at Fir Park, full of confidence, which they are anyway. You then take out Motherwell, go into that split with 12 points added to your 63, 75 points. It's, for me, it's over with. Because I think 2 wins would be possibly their 2 home games, while Celtic and Rangers have got to play each other. Of course. Motherwell's got to play Celtic and Rangers. For me, that's how I see it.
A melting pot. The news is next, and then we're back after this.
Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 1717 700. Talking Scottish football first.
I just want to say thanks to everyone who's made the switch from 5 every night, talking football first here on the Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Tonight we've got Mark, as you know, who's been with us long term, and Kevin Kyle, who's been in twice this week. Thank you so much. Barry, hopefully will be back next week, but Kevin, it's been brilliant working with you, and hopefully you'll come back again soon, and you'll stay for this hour.
No, I've enjoyed it. I must admit, it's a whole new experience. I'm a big avid listener to a lot of football shows. I like the callers coming in, because obviously they are giving it from a fan's point of view, and you're obviously there just to try and give them an alternative view. But no, I've really enjoyed it. Callers have been good. Mark's been great. Charlie was great all night, and obviously yourself, Paul, you're not too bad at all.
Charlie was brilliant. I was winding Charlie up last night. I'm really cheeky about his beard, which is... He's painted the beard. I don't know why. Mark, have you ever thought of this?
No, not for me. No hair transplants, no dye anywhere. I'll just au natural.
Right, we're not about grooming. We're more about the football itself this weekend. We haven't mentioned, it's there on a ticker tape, who's going to be the Celtic manager next season? One, is it going to be Martin O'Neill? You've just said if Celtic win tomorrow, they could be on the charge to win the league. And even if they didn't, they've got a good chance in the Scottish Cup. So, would it be Martin O'Neill? Would you stay on at 74 for another season? Just a question mark. Jens Bertel Askew is very much fancied, I would imagine, as well. And I see that Robbie Keane has been mentioned, the Ferencváros boss, who was at Celtic for a short time, as we all know. Kevin, can I throw that to you first? What do you think?
I think if Celtic win the league, I think it would be very difficult not to offer Martin O'Neill an extension, because he's achieved something that for a while a lot of Celtic fans may think it's not going to happen. So I think it would be disrespectful in a way that if they won the league, you didn't offer him the job. Would Martin take it? he's obviously said in various shows that he may or may not. You don't really know the thinking behind him, but I've never really got a problem with any manager who's older or younger or whatever ideas. I always look at the Celtic and Rangers job, and everybody's looking for that young, hungry manager. But what that ends up happening is that they do well and then they ship off.
Yeah.
And then you've got to rebuild again. Whereas somebody like Martin O'Neill, an older manager, they're happy to be there. They're happy to enjoying their job. They've got the knowledge of what Celtic fans want with the younger guys, Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney beside him. They've got young, fresh ideas as well. So that kind of mix seems to work. Whereas if Danny Role wins the league with Rangers this year and then wins it again next year and has a good European run, somebody's going to take Danny Role away again. Yeah. So then you're then back to building and building. So I always sometimes think, it's great to get young managers in and give them an opportunity, but that older, experienced manager who's there, I think if you look at it at times with Gordon Strachan, longevity and stuff, he done well. And Brendan Rodgers,
he won 3 titles, didn't he, in 4 years? Gordon Strachan. Yeah.
And Martin, obviously, the first time round the titles that he won. So there's arguments, but the Celtic job, when it presents itself to whatever way they go down, it's an attractive job. For me personally, if Martin O'Neill doesn't succeed in winning the title this year and goes elsewhere, for me, the manager for Celtic Football Club's in this league already. Yeah. I believe that from talking to Andy Halliday, who I know very well, the things that he talks about with that manager and the way he comes across, it's for me, the style of football that he plays, Celtic fans would love that. It's similar to like an Ange type, expressive, open football, possession based. It's down to then recruitment, and Celtic have failed in that department. So does the mother was ask you, does he then take on board that role as well? Does he then recruit what he needs, because he's recruited very well at Motherwell? Can he do that at a bigger club like Celtic?
So he's got a good strategy. Has he got a philosophy about the kind of players that he wants? Because Celtic at the moment, it has been really poor behind the scenes. I'm not talking about Martin O'Neill just now, but everyone knows that they were asleep at the wheel. And recruitment and all the rest of it's been wrong for a while. Mark, what do you think, first of all, for next season? Because Bert, I'll ask you, they wouldn't be doing their jobs if they weren't getting ready to maybe offer him something. But what about Martin O'Neill? Yeah,
well, I mean, Paul, go back to, here's my take on it. You go back 4 months when, I'll just put it bluntly, they effectively sacked Martin O'Neill, a manager who'd won 7 games out of 8, beaten Rangers in a cup semi-final, gone to final and won, and kept 5 clean sheets, and they effectively sacked him, got him in a cup final. If he wins the league again, and you do not offer him the chance to stay on, you're effectively sacking him again. You're sacking a title-winning manager who's produced that between now, and by the way, I think the odds are stacked against Celtic in winning it. However, you can't make that same mistake again. So you must offer him the job. Now, whether Martin wants to take it again, I don't know. And I know he said, I maybe don't, or maybe I would. You wouldn't know until it's put in front of you. Here's your contract, Martin. Do you want it? Do you feel you have the energy to go? Or would Martin O'Neill say, you know what, I'm 74. I've had a whale of a time. It's been unbelievable to win a title 25 years ago and now do it again and potentially a double. He might just think it's time to sail into the sunset, or he might be, who knows. But if he wins the league, they must offer him the job. They cannot sack him again. Because if the new guy comes in, whoever the new guy may be, takes over the champions and doesn't get a good start right away, he's never been him, but why is Martin O'Neill not here? Sure. So you've got to think of all this. You've got to think of all the dynamics. If for whatever reason Martin O'Neill is not the manager next season, Ascu's on the radar. Ascu would, if he wants to be, I think Celtic would drop a shortlist and Ascu would be interviewed. Robbie Keane's linked. There's obviously links to Dermot Desmond there, to Ireland, etc., etc. Sean Dyche has got a good body of work as well, and might fancy something different, because really you look at Sean Dyche's CV, every job he's had, it's been bottom 6, fighting relegation. This would be a chance to go and build something to win titles on the front foot, which would be a pleasant change for him. I'm sure Sean Maloney, with Sean and the young team, come into the reckoning, maybe so. If not, I think Sean will be the kind of sporting director at the club moving forward. So who knows? But right now it's Martin O'Neill. He's in the driving seat, and even if he doesn't win the league, Paul, what he's achieved there in the 2 spells has been absolutely brilliant. Not only on the park, but off the park as well. He has taken so much heat away from the situation of the anger from the fans towards the hierarchy, for failed transfer windows, forward planning, freshening it up, a multitude of things. So I hope Martin O'Neill does well. A lot of time from, a lot of respect from,
sure.
and Celtic are very, very lucky to have him just now.
I know you think about your words. Sacked could sound a bit strong, Mark, given that.
But I'm deliberately using that
I know
word,
you are,
Paul. I'm
provocatively.
deliberately using it.
Because here's the thing. That week when they said, thank you, cheers, was it just after the Dundee game? And then they were playing Hearts. It was the top of the table Hearts, and Celtic could have been right in the driving position, and that was what, beginning of December.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And then, of course, they had the European game and the cup final against St Mirren. And St Mirren, you know, there should be no comparison, but St Mirren did it on the day, to their credit. So you're right, it was a monumental error. So Celtic fans, what do you think? 0808 17 17 700, a lot of it, depending on what happens. Now, we went through the first hour without speaking about events at Ibrox last weekend. Yeah, I'm pleased, I've been saying all week, I hope they don't ban fans, away fans, because the derby, the Old Firm derby, the Glasgow derby, I don't care what you call it, would be a real shame. And it's pandering to the lowest common denominator. People need to get a grip, need to look at themselves and not just blame the others. And actually, in the statements last night, I read the Rangers one out on the programme. The Celtic one came in just later. So we'll go to that one first. Brian Wilson spoke to Jerry McCulloch at Celtic TV, and it's been issued, the statement. What did Martin O'Neill think about the supporters update? Because there was an update about the Green Brigade and Olive Branch, about maybe getting them back in at Celtic Park.
It would be great if that was the case. Absolutely, it would be. We're running out of home games now. I don't think we've got that many left, both now and during the split. So the sooner it could get sorted, it would be fantastic. Because, as I said to you before, the club going in the same direction is what we want to do.
And I think some points have been put to the SAG, the Safety Advisory Group, which is Glasgow City Council. So I don't think it's quite just in the club's hands, but you can imagine 9 games to go. How many of them at home? 3 plus 2, is it 5 at home? Then you want every single fan, as long as they behave, there to bring a thunder to Celtic Park. Rangers would want the same, but the Union Bears are not banned. I know there were slightly different issues. What's his reflections then on the incidents last weekend?
Naturally, the rules that the people should stay in their positions. I thought there was a lot of emotion, joy, things like that there coming on, our crowd coming in. Next thing you know, I'm up there. It's my general thing is maybe to wave to the away fans at the end, regardless of the result. And then, you seem to be caught in the middle of it. Next thing you know, that there's the Rangers fans are coming at the other end. So, yeah, but obviously the scenes weren't great. So I think the SFA are holding an inquiry about it. And to me, the saddest part about it all is that, of course, you don't want anybody injured. For a start, although I think there was some scenes outside the football club, but to me, the idea then that the full allocation of tickets looks as if that will disappear again, and that's something that, as I said to you, that I would like to have seen, and I assume that because of those scenes, it probably won't happen.
But it looks as though there'll be, 2,500 Rangers fans at Celtic in, just a number of weeks' time, probably 6 or 7 weeks. Danny Rule spoke about the future away allocations.
Yeah, it would be a shame for us, or for all of us. That's what I try to explain. I think since I'm here, I really enjoyed this game with the supporters on both ends. I think this is great. If you're away or at home, that makes the football exciting, and hopefully we can carry on. But of course, if such a thing happens, then you have to be careful, because it could be that there's a consequence. And then the fans, they're in the stadium and they like to see football, they get then the consequence, and it would be not nice.
And his reflections on Sunday?
Nobody likes to see this. I think was a big part after the game. We didn't speak about football, we speak about all the other things around on the pitch, off the pitch. I think nobody likes to see this. It was over 120 minutes, exciting game, a lot of good emotion on the pitch, off the pitch. This is what we want. And then after, the only topic was the situation on the pitch, and this should be not happened. Nobody likes to see this, and I said this before, I think the emotional part was great during the game. I think I like to have these old firms with supporters from both sides. I think this is great. This makes the football exciting. It makes the atmosphere in the stadium, and I think everyone should take responsibility that we can keep going on this.
Mark, your reflections on both of it. It does sound as though fans will still be in, even in limited numbers.
Yeah, we were speaking about this on Wednesday night, and our view was that it'll go to 60,000 Celtic fans at Parkhead and 50,000 Rangers fans at Ibrox. Paul, one of our regular callers, that didn't agree with that. I'm not saying that's what I wanted to see. What my point was, that's what I think was going to happen in terms of the authorities, the police would override the clubs in terms of no, safety has to come first, etc., etc., etc. They're also looking out for their own police force, their own employees, and the welfare of them. So that's what I thought would happen. But it looks as though Rangers are going to get that allocation in for the league game, and I don't have a problem with that. But I wonder what the police and the authorities will think. In terms of the SFA investigation, Paul, I've yet to know an investigation that actually investigates properly, that actually gets under the bonnet, gets to it, and takes whoever they think's guilty, take them by the scruff of the neck, and insist that they sort it out. So it'll be a whitewash. It'll be a slap of the wrist. It'll get a statement. It'll get released at 9 o'clock on a Monday night, and there'll be nothing to see here. That's what tends to happen. So we'll see. We'll wait and see after that. Whatever Brian Wilson has his critics as a Celtic chairman in the interim role, at least he's come out and faced up to it. I don't think it was a particularly great interview, but he's came there as the chairman of Celtic and fronted up. The Rangers statement's a Rangers statement. I always say, Paul, somebody put your name to it.
Yeah.
Who's driven the statement by Rangers? Is it Andrew Kavanagh? Is it a board member? I know there's Jim Gillespie's to go in and start in the next few weeks. But somebody put your name to it. Yeah. I always say that. You must have an index, whoever it may be, put your name on it. Yeah. Put your name on it as a senior executive, as part of a football club. However, they've put the statement out, and we'll see what happens. But I'm glad. I'm not wanting to whitewash myself or brush under the carpet what happened on Sunday. However, I'm really glad that we've got a brilliant card to look forward to over the weekend, Paul. And it's about the football with a title race. Absolutely. 3, possibly 4 teams going for it with 9 games to go.
Kevin is a former player at Rangers, and you know both clubs. What would you add to it? Are you pleased that there's still going to be fans coming in? Because quite a lot of people were saying the divisional match commander, chief superintendent, was saying, 7,500 is too many. I know it's not 7,500 just now, but at least there's going to be 2,500 Rangers fans at Celtic.
7,500 wasn't too many years ago when it worked.
Exactly, yeah.
So what's changed? So what I would look at it is, from everything that goes wrong in any aspect of life, you've got to look at it and think, right, how did this happen? How can we learn from this? How can we make this so that this doesn't happen again? Both sets of supporters are wrong on both levels. Yeah. You can blame Rangers fans for running at Celtic fans. You can blame Celtic fans for getting on the pitch. You can blame Celtic fans for doing damage in the toilets. Rangers have done it at Parkhead. You can talk about chants that they're talking about, Celtic this, Celtic that. Rangers started with the famous song of Simply the Best, when between the words that come with that. Yeah. So it's tit for tat. But what really needs to happen is that we need Celtic and Rangers fans, away fans, in both grounds every time they play each other, because that's what sells our game. It's the big, for me, it's as good a derby in the world as you'll ever likely to see. English teams and teams abroad would love that atmosphere. Everybody talks about it, but they're starting to let themselves down. Why are they letting themselves down? 20 years ago, Martin O'Neill's era, back in the day, did we have the Union Bears? Did we have the Green Brigade?
No.
Right, so what's happened is two fan bases, Union Bears and the Green Brigade, have set up, and they've been allowed to grow. And with growing, they've now think they've got a voice, and that's become a problem. it's now no sometimes about football on a Saturday. It's about political reasons and things that we don't really. That doesn't need to be anywhere near football. I've got a wee boy. I've got 4 boys. One's a season ticket holder at Sunderland. Two are Celtic fans and one's a Rangers fan. People say, "Well, how does that happen?" Well, it happens because my dad never told me who to support. I'll never tell my kids who to support. So I've took my son to Ibrox in the winter time. It's only time I go because I can put a snood on, the hat on, and nobody knows that's me. And I've also took my boys to Parkhead. We go because we love football, we love the atmosphere, we love the environments, and we don't need to hear the nonsense. So what needs to happen is that, it would be great if the Green Brigade could get back into Celtic Park, because Celtic need an atmosphere. If they think they've got a title chance, Celtic need an atmosphere, and they can create it, but they need to be on their best behaviour. Union Bears are exactly the same. The police need to learn from their errors. Let's no brush it under the carpet that the police were any saints in this. Why are they waiting outside?
Absolutely.
What's going to happen outside?
Show of force would help, especially at penalties.
Well, Paul, if I said to you, right, Paul, you're in charge of this next Celtic Rangers game, you're in charge of the police, what are you going to do? It's going to go to penalties. Well, line up all the police officers in front of Celtic fans, or vice versa. That stops any. Simple fix.
My old great friend, God rest him, Sir John Orr, OBE, Chief Constable of Strathclyde. They would have been out. There would have been a show of force. He did the knife crime thing. He said, right, Glasgow, the problem here, he got in among them. You can't just sit back and, issue these kind of words that are conciliatory and all the rest. You've got to see a bit at times. Hey, the police were too much in Lille yesterday against Aston Villa. Shocking. So nobody wants to see that. No. But there needs to be a bit of a show of support. There also needs to be the morons doing it, but the 66 has to stop. And the playing of up to our knees in Fenian blood is disgusting. And that needs to stop as well. It really is. With dancing all about it. I see Graham Spears has come out and said, I think there's probably a problem in Scotland, and it's not enough talked about it, about the bigotry. They don't go near a church. They're not interested in whether you're Protestant or Catholic, not really, unless they're looking back in history. I mean, Celtic came from, Brother Walfrid to feed the poor in the West End, the East End of Glasgow. That's what it was for. It was St Vincent de Paul in the East End. Yeah, he was an Irish Maris brother, but it wasn't about Ireland. It was about what they were doing for the Irish community that had moved over here because of the famine. And then for Rangers still to be playing that, I mean, it is. I think it's... See, when I see a great game and you think, well, that's a great performance by Rangers or whatever, and then in the end, I hear that music. I find it really offensive.
I'm glad I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I've never chosen to understand it. I've just chosen to be a football fan. And I've been on, I happily admit it, I've supported Celtic and I've played for Rangers. I had no inkling of even a hint that when I got that opportunity, I was going to say, no, don't get me wrong, my brother phoned me up and says, Kevin, you've ruined the family, right? That's part of it. I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
But my brother came and watched me playing for Rangers. And he says, Kevin, of all the times I watched you play football, I've never felt prouder, because that couldn't have been easy, but it was easy.
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to play with one of the biggest clubs in Scottish football, and I will live with those memories forever. Yeah. It's about the football. The rest of it needs to disappear. There's nothing better when Celtic and Rangers go toe-to-toe 4 times a season, sometimes in a cup final, and it's nip and tuck, and there's all action, like Saturday, all action. The game itself was horrendous, but the atmosphere, that everything was happening, and that's what we love about it. But it was ruined by, I would say, immature individuals who haven't got a clue why they're there in the first place.
Yeah. And the knuckle dusters and all the rest of it. I mean, it is serious business, I know that, but I think they need to get tough with the offenders. I know it. And people, you could say, well, the seat number, but people are getting chucked out of their seat, aren't they, by both sides of ultras, the Green Brigade and at the Union Bears. And it's such a pity, Mark, because we know so much good comes from Glasgow. We love this city in the west of Scotland, and I just hope there's a change. But look, I've seen reports decade after decade, nothing really changes.
I don't think it is, Paul, is it? Let's be honest. We've been talking about it for decades.
Yeah.
Both clubs are up in front of a government inquiry, albeit, it was a bit of grandstanding. I think as well. What for me is, I've said it, is there's too many people that just say words, that just put statements out. Or like I say, something happens and people want to get attached to it. Like the PFA wanted to get attached to it this week. Ryan Stevenson wanted to get attached. I mean, a lot of rubbish. An absolute lot of what what are you doing? Yeah. Our governing body is there to govern. What are you doing? What are you doing about it? Can the clubs do more? What are you doing about it? It's fine putting out these statements. It's fine going in front of the camera, but that lacks substance. It's actually doing it. And by the way, you need to be brave. Not denying that.
Sure.
You need to be brave to go and make meaningful change. I don't think there's enough bravery out there.
Stuart, whom I know, and I didn't know his religion or whatever. I knew he was a Celtic fan. And he said, Paul, I'm a Church of Scotland member. I'm a Celtic fan, and I find it really offensive. You must find it offensive, the singing. And I do think, my grandfather was Irish. I'm not sure I want to hear just Irish songs. Honestly, on both sides. I know they're different things. They're not as offensive, but come on, we're better than that in Glasgow. And these two amazing football clubs. Amazing. Right, we're going to go back to talking football with the score predictor just after this.
The Score Predictor with Shawfield Timber. With decades of experience, they are Glasgow's specialist timber merchant.
All right, that's all sorted. Back to the football now. And, well, as you can hear there, the weekend SPFL results giving you the chance to take on our score predictor with Shawfield Timber. If our caller predicts it right, he could win £1,000. It's just 6 games. How tough can that be? Scott is on, Celtic fan from Annan. Hi, Scott. Good evening.
Hi, team. How you doing? You good?
Hey,
yeah,
Scott.
good. Thanks. Kevin, you all right?
I'm good. Yep.
Scott?
From Annan, hi. We've got the same language, so we understand each other here.
Oh no, I don't have the same language as you.
No. What are you trying to say? You're more chucked than me.
No, I think you're a bit further up than me. To be fair.
Scott, what are you thinking? It is some title race, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's good for the neutral. It's obviously quite stressful for a Celtic fan, but it's been great for the SPL. But and you don't know which way it's going to go. To be fair, like every team just seems to be grinding out results without winning really, really comprehensively. So who knows what could happen?
Who would be your manager? Or I'll tell you what, we'll ask you that after we get your predictions. Although, actually, it's not a quiz, this one. That's Monday night, the quiz we do that way. So, I mean, Martin O'Neill, is he going to do it again? Is he going to win a cup, the cup, Scottish Cup? Is he going to do a double?
I think he can. He absolutely can. There's no reason why he can't. But I don't think the performances that Celtic are putting out are spelling out a title-winning team. I just don't think they're doing that. I think it's a real struggle. They're getting by just in the last minute or grinding out results. I know there's a lot of reasons for that for the season that's gone by, but I don't know what's going to happen. I think Celtic can do it because they've got Martin O'Neill. But if you're asking me, am I confident? I would say no.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll find out. 9 games to go. We've obviously got the international break. We've got the split coming up, but it could go all the way to May. I think everyone thinks that. Hearts are the ones that can pull away. Listen, if they continue, it could be done and dusted in the not too distant. Right, so with our friends at Shawfield Timber, £1,000. I'd love to be giving it away to you, Scott, because nobody's won it so far. But right, this weekend, we're going to kick off with Aberdeen against Falkirk. Who wants to take that one first? I'm looking at Kevin for, what do you think?
Right.
Yep.
New manager bounds, Mark.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to think, but I actually think that Falkirk are a right good side. They won't look at it as a new manager coming in there. Stephen Rom's came in there yesterday, so what's he got, 2 days to work with a squad unknown? What's he going to be able to change in a couple of days? Maybe make them a bit more organised, make them difficult to beat. So I'm going to go with a draw. I think that Aberdeen and Falkirk, I think Falkirk, I think it's a score draw.
Score draw. Aberdeen, as you know, only 8 wins all season, 5 draws, 16 defeats for the Dons, up against the Falkirk team, as you know, 12 wins, 6 draws, 11 defeats. Mark, what do you feel?
I agree with Kevin.
Right.
New manager bounce. It certainly can't be any worse than last Saturday at Dunfermline. However, Stephen Robinson doesn't have a magic wand. Falkirk very, very settled. They just play the same way anyway, but I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Importantly, Scott, I've got my pen here ready. What do you think? Aberdeen, Falkirk.
Well, I'm going to go for an Aberdeen win for this game. I just feel that, like the other guy said, a new manager bounce. I know he's not a miracle worker, but I think they could potentially get a win there.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a good friend that's an Aberdeen fan as well, so I better.
And so have I, but I still wouldn't back them for that one. I was up there last week, so okay, right. You're going for the Dons. I'm skirting around it a wee bit. I'm going to go to the 3 o'clock, given that it's Cheltenham week. The 3 o'clock at Easter Road. Hibs against Livy. Mark, you first on that one.
Yeah, game number 30 for Livy in the league and only 1-1. Quite incredible how they're not actually relegated already. I can't see them getting anything. Hibernian all looking towards next season and starting to make the changes and advise players who'll be staying, who'll be going. Hibs comfortably in the top 6. Hibs to win by 2 goals.
I couldn't disagree. I think that knowing I speak quite regularly with Liam Craig, his wee boy and my boy play in the same team, 2 8-year-olds, Ollie and Tom, so I speak quite regularly, and Liam's a great guy, and I think that what they're doing at Hibs, they've been in for some parts of the season with a wee bit of criticism, but I think on a whole had some results, went a different way. They could have been closer to the top 4, but I think the Hibs comfortable win. I think Marvin's steadied the ship a wee bit at Livingston in terms of picking up a few points. But listen, if Marv was to get Livingston out of this mess, it would be the what an escape.
Oh, it would be.
It'd be amazing. But I think Hibs at home, pretty confident that Hibs will get a home win.
It's a bit like Wolves, isn't it, with Rob Edwards? Just too little, too late. And I see Martin Boyle's only 2 games away from 400 appearances for Hibernian. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's a lot of games.
So Scott, you're the man with the power. So what do you think? £1,000 there. You've said Aberdeen to beat Falkirk. What about Hibs against Livy?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the guys there. Hibs to beat Livingston at home.
Okay. What would you do with the money if you win the 1,000, or when you win the 1,000 on Monday?
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
Just pay a few bills, lads.
It's tough, isn't it? Everything's so expensive, it's crazy. Yep. I need to start working instead of doing. Right, okay. Kelly against Hearts. I'm going to throw that to you. No, listen, I'll go to Celtic Motherwell. We'll do the 3 o'clock. So your team Celtic up against Motherwell tomorrow. What are you thinking? I'm just trying to hear Martin O'Neill. He's talking about the game, crucial game. We heard that. Match allocation. He spoke about it. Yeah, no, over to you, Scott, because he's talking about what happened last weekend. What do you feel tomorrow?
I think Celtic will get it over the line, but I think it will be a struggle. I think Motherwell are really, really good. Berfell obviously has got them set up really good.
Yeah.
But I'll take Celtic to just get over the line there.
Mark, what Celtic team do you think we'll see tomorrow? Have you thought of what the lineup would be?
I think it'll be Sinisalo in goals. I think it'll be Arujo right back. I think Dane Murray will get a nod with Trusty being suspended alongside Liam Scales. Tierney could come in. I think he's fit again, isn't he?
Yeah,
maybe just go Sriracha just to be safe.
Here's what he said on him.
Kieran's Callum still he will miss the game, and but Kieran's in better shape, and he'll be there.
So he'll be there. Squad.
Yeah, but listen, if Tierney's fit and gives it a nod, of course he's the first choice left back, and he's been terrific. In terms of Celtic, albeit they were really, really good defensively last week, they missed Tierney going forward, Paul. You know, he does create, he does get assists, does chip in. You know, he's a handful, he knows the game, so they've missed him. So I think if he's fit, obviously he starts tomorrow, even if you get an hour out of him. But they've got an able deputy in Sriracha. I would go with a midfield 3 of Oxlade, Chamberlain, Hatate, and Nygren as your kind of your floater.
Yep.
And then I would go Yang, Maeda, 2 wingers, and Chavanchar as a centre forward.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep Tanecki on the bench.
What do you think the scoreline will be, Kevin? This is a really hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one because Motherwell are so consistent in what they do. Celtic are inconsistent in what they're doing. So, but the reality for me is that Celtic are at home, and predominantly Celtic are very good at home in terms of getting results. So I have to side with the Celtic being at home, the home crowd. We're now getting to the really, really nitty-gritty part of the season, and this is if there was ever a must-win game, this is it tomorrow. So I'm going to go Celtic, a close 2-1 victory.
2-1. Mark, your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, Motherwell will come to win the game, Paul. They won't sit in, they won't try, that's just not the style. So it's great. I think it'll be a really entertaining 90 minutes. I think it'll be pulsating. I think Celtic will miss. I think they've missed the supporters. Whatever you think of the Green Brigade, but when they stick to supporting the team as good supporters, they bring something different to the stadium. And I think Martin O'Neill and his players would love to have that back in, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen in time for tomorrow. And by the way, come 5 o'clock tomorrow, it might be too late. But I'm going to go Celtic to sneak it 3-2.
3-2. Just before we get Scots, I'm going to tell you we've got when the games are being played, the Scottish Cup semi-finals. The Saturday game, as you would expect, Dunfermline against Falkirk. So that's Hampden Park, Saturday the 18th of April, 12:30 kick-off. It's on BBC One Scotland and Premier Sports. And then Sunday, Celtic against St Mirren, 2 o'clock kick-off, live on Premier Sports. Here's Martin O'Neill speaking about, just to see if there's any hint at all about how he is, how the team is, before we hear from Scott.
Yes, I suppose maybe because it was the first question that was asked at the time, I thought that the efforts were big from us. We were minus a couple of really big players for us as well too. So stepping in and going there and getting the result in the manner in which we did, getting through on penalties eventually. It was a tough afternoon for us, and I knew it would be. Rangers, I suppose, pretty well at full strength. I thought it was a brilliant defensive action by us, and naturally I'm pleased that we've won the game.
Scott, so it's Motherwell tomorrow, your head ruling your heart or whatever. What do you think? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I honestly think Celtic are going to get through it.
Yeah.
I think the other guys just said there, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle. You know, I think without Martin O'Neill this season, we'd be in serious trouble. I think Celtic just now play exactly, you know, they look like a team exactly what they are. They've had 3 different management systems, 3 different tactical systems right through the year. And you can see it, you know, there's no fluency. They're really struggling going forward. But what they've got is the Martin O'Neill factor. They've got guys defending their boxes with their lives. Is that good enough to get you through to win a league title? I honestly don't know. No. I honestly can't answer it. But you know, they will grind out results with that. I just don't know if it's enough to catch Hearts. Sure.
But enough to get the points tomorrow. What do you think the scoreline is?
Tomorrow, I think, like the guys maybe said before, 2-1 or 3-2. It could be a higher scoring game. I'm going to go 3-2.
Sure.
3-2.
Scott, lead on this one then. Tomorrow night, some game, 8 o'clock on Sky. Killie against Hearts.
Yeah, my heart's going to roll my head here. I'm going to say Kilmarnock. But I'm going to go for a Kilmarnock win. You're going for
Killie on that one. Kevin, what do you feel? 2 of your old clubs, eh? You're on the fence.
I'm not going to. I should say a draw, but I'm not going to worry about upsetting one or the other. I think that there could be a spanner in the works, and I think Kilmarnock might get something.
Okay, wow.
What that something is it a point or is it 3 points? Yeah. I just think that. I don't ask me why. It's just I haven't a clue. I'm just thinking that the obvious answer is Hearts, right? Want Hearts to win the league, but Kilmarnock's fighting, and I think that they're struggling up front, as Mark said earlier. I think all for sure that they've not got much goals in them, but could Neil McCann come up with a masterclass tomorrow night?
Yeah, let's find out tomorrow. Well, we will tomorrow night. Hearts, Mark, 63 points. Killie, 21 points.
Killie only won 4 games all season. Conceded the most goals in the league, 60 goals. I don't see where Killie's goals come. Really unfortunate. John Jules was really leading the line well, Paul. It's a sore one, a real sore one for Neil McCann and Billy Dodd. So I think if they have to get anything, it's going to be backs to the wall, a 0-0. However, Hearts know how to win 1-0. Derek knows how to go there. They'll have the bit between their teeth. They've had that rest. Like Kilmarnock, they've had a fortnight rest, both of them. Kilmarnock, Neil McCann was seething after the 5-1 defeat to Falkirk. By all accounts, it was 5 going on 8. And Hearts got a victory. I think Hearts will do it again. I'm going to go for a tight 1-0.
Tight 1-0, you reckon? Okay. St Mirren against Rangers. Kevin, former Rangers player.
I'm going to go. I think that Rangers will win the game. Yep. I'm going to say 2-0.
2-0. Maybe Chermiti getting one of those, if not both, player of the month. Yeah.
Chermiti and your man, what do you call him?
Nadiri.
Mikey Moore.
Oh, Mikey Moore. Yeah, a lot of Rangers fans saying, why did he come off last weekend? Look, he may have been tiring, he may have had a knock, I don't know. Mark, what do you think? St Mirren, your old team against Rangers?
Rangers have always found it tough in Paisley in recent times. It'll be interesting to see how St Mirren react with Craig McLeish, Alan McManus and Jamie Langfield in charge. Again, if St Mirren are going to get it, I think it'll just be grinding it out, Paul. But I'm going to go 2-1 to Rangers. Rangers to win the first of the 9 cup finals that Danny Rule has identified. 2-1 Rangers.
Let's hear Danny Rule before we get Scott's verdict on it. He's talking about the mentality. It keeps coming up, but he talks about these 9 finals to go.
I could describe this easy. Sometimes it's football. football is football. You can work hard, and this is what I see. You can bring the group in situations, you bring yourself in situations, and then you hit the post, you hit the bar, and then you think, oh, we speak about mentality. For me, it would be more this kind of problem if you dropped after the first game against Celtic, when you drop after 50 minutes and you cannot come back in the second game in the next 7 days again to this point. But I felt from the first minute on that we dominate a team who thought they can play just the second half against us again and they will win this game. But I couldn't see this in this game, and this is then a great job from my group, how much personality we have. I think you see this as well, the development. Some players was the first Old Firm at home. 7 days later is the second one, and you see straight there is a development. We carry on. I think we have a big trust in ourselves, and the title race is still close. 6 points. It's 2 match days. Our goal difference is not so bad. This is also important, I think. And yeah, let's go forward.
Scott, stay with us. We'll get your verdict just after this break.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
All right, we heard from Danny Rule just ahead of Scott's prediction. So, Mark Guidi is going for Rangers. Kevin Kyle is going for Rangers. Scott, what do you feel with Sheffield Timber going for £1,000? Who do you fancy?
Yeah, I think with Stephen Robinson going to Aberdeen, I think St Mirren might struggle with this one. I'm going to go for Rangers. Rangers
win. Dundee against Dundee United. The derby, Big Charlie was on last night. He's doing that in Premier Sports. Yeah, it is in fact Premier Sports. So, what do you think on that one, Kevin?
I think Dundee. I think what Stephen Presley's done at Dundee's been. I think it's been excellent. I think if you look at the start they've had to the season, most Dundee fans were like, "What is this appointment all about? Get him out!" But he's turned the fortunes around, and Dundee are looking at their points total. They're more than safe. Yeah. And a home game against their rivals down the road in the same street, I can see a Dundee victory. I actually quite like Stephen Presley. I was fortunate enough to play with him in a Scotland set up and played against him a couple of times. And listen, he's different to a lot of footballers you come up against, but a really nice, genuine guy who only wants to succeed. And listen, he's doing well, and I respect that. And
you know what? I think we all got it wrong about Stephen Presley there. I mean, I know he's not rushing in and out of Taylor and Anne Ferguson's place, who I see have had 50 years in the business. I saw it in the socials, but he's different, isn't he? He really is, and you've got to admire that, Mark.
Yeah, he's been great, and the incentive for Dundee, Paul, obviously apart from winning the derby and getting one over your rivals, is if Dundee win, they jump above Dundee United in the table. So there's your incentive for Jim Goodwin, just digging in and trying not to lose the game. Obviously, you'd love it to win, but I'm going to go a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 at Dens Park.
Okay, and the final verdict then from Scott in Annan. Scott, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Kevin there. I think Dundee will win that one. I'd like to see Stephen Presley do it as well. He got a lot of criticism at the start of the season when he took the role, but you know he's obviously coming up trumps now with some good performances. So yeah, Dundee win.
Scott, you're really good. You know your stuff. So you available any other nights? I'll just check, because we're never going to hear Mark or me or Kevin again. No, right, listen. See, during the break, we were saying, what a cracking guy. So you sure you're going Celtic against Motherwell? I get it. You're going Hibs against Livy. You're going Kelly against Hearts. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
You are. You're going Rangers to win at St Mirren. You're going Dundee United. Are you sure you're going for Aberdeen to win against Falkirk?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I like Stephen Robinson. I think he can do it. And I don't know if Falkirk will handle the pitch up there. It doesn't look too good, the Pittodrie pitch, to be fair. You know?
Sure. Of course. And who do you fancy? That's it. That's you. We've got them. I'm hoping Monday night you'll be... Because if it was easy, we would all be wherever your favourite hotspot is. If you were winning the £1,000, where would you head to if it was the Sun? Where would you go?
Where would they head to?
Yeah.
So you say that again, sorry.
For Sunshine. Which holiday, where would you go?
For Sunshine?
Yeah, for Sunshine.
I don't know. My mate came round tonight and he asked me if I wanted to go to Lisbon in the summer. And I know it sounds quite selfish. I'm a Celtic supporter. And he asked me if I wanted to go to, Lisbon, where they won the European Cup. So I might do that, I suppose, if I won it.
Yeah. Right. That'd be a magnificent trip, wouldn't it?
Do you guys mind if I give a little shout out here to one of my best mates? He's going through his cancer treatment just now. His name's Andy. He's a big Celtic supporter as well, and I'm just wishing him all the best. And he's battling like a hero. So I just wanted to give him a shout out while I was on the radio.
Great. Good luck to Andy. Yeah. Is Andy in Annan or is he Glasgow or whereabouts is he?
He actually lives in Dumfries, which is 20 miles away from me, but I just wanted to give him a shout out. Hope that's okay.
But absolutely fantastic, Scott. It's been really good to speak to you. And Dumfries, a great part of the country as well. Scott, thanks a million. Hopefully we'll speak to you on Monday.
Good luck, Scott. Good luck, Scott.
Cheers. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Mentioning his friend Andy there from Dumfries, a great town as well, where the
old Downhamers.
Indeed, the Downhamers,
I know.
Burns. Now, who's going to be coming out of the championship? So tonight, did you both go for Partick Thistle? Did I ask you?
No,
I'm asking you now.
Yes, I'm going for the Harry Rags to a really tough game. Yep. Ian Murray's doing well at Morton, but I'm going for Thistle to win.
Okay,
I'm going to go Morton.
Okay, St Johnstone, are they going to continue? It's the top against near bottom. Anyone disagree with St Johnstone to win in that one?
I'm going to go for St Johnstone to beat Manager of the Month, Stuart Kettlewell's Ross County.
And Queen's...
You're not happy with that, Manager of the Month?
No, it's just strange.
I'd love to know who's in the voting panel this month. Love to know who's in the voting panel.
Queen's Park against Ayr United.
I tell you what, Queen's Park they've had an unbelievable turnaround, and fair play to them. I think Scott Brown's struggling a wee bit at Ayr, so I would think that Queen's Park potentially could upset Ayr.
And Dunfermline against Wraith Rovers, of course.
The old Fife derby.
Yes.
Dunfermline to win.
Airdrie against Arbroath. Who do you fancy on that one?
Arbroath for me.
Going for Arbroath.
I quite like what David Gould's doing at Arbroath.
Okay. So, wow, we're on the verge now. We've only got 4 minutes left. So here's a little bit more from Martin O'Neill and from Danny Rule. We heard him just before the break. Danny Rule was talking about, I think, last week. And you get the feeling, of course you do, they must think, crikey, if we'd gone in 3-0 at half time, then it would have been okay 2 weeks ago against Celtic. It wasn't to be, and you wonder if that's an inflection point for them. But on the other hand, 9 games to go. What about the confidence then? That's what he was asked this afternoon.
Yeah, we beat also Celtic, we beat also Hibs, we beat also Motherwell, and we beat also Hearts. And I think it makes me very positive that we can do this again.
And he wants to bring back special moments?
Yeah, it's our job to bring the momentum back, this final bit, what we need. I have not the feeling that my players are really down in case of, or in the direction that they are scared for the next game. No, it's more about we want to show with the next game that we can win again. And I think this is the correct direction, is exactly what we need. And again, this 9 cup finals is for me crucial, and I see how we train, how we play, how we are connected, how we find each other. I see the step forward, and I see especially that we can win these games.
Kevin, the bosses at Rangers can't be faulted for the money they've spent.
No.
With the 49ers, what was that? 28 million in the summer, another 10, 12 million there in January.
It's been an incredible backing when you think about where Rangers have been over the last lot of years in terms of what happened to them in the early 2012, and even at the beginning of this season, you think at one point I think they were maybe 12, 15 points off Hearts at the top of the table. So do we look at it and think that somebody stumbled, or that's allowed Rangers to catch up, or has Rangers been that good that they've been put themselves into a title race? Well, what Danny Role's done is what Russell Martin couldn't do. Russell Martin tried to play sexy football and try and get points, and it wasn't working, and he was too stubborn to change, whereas Danny Role's just come in, identified what he's had to do, simplify it and make sure that Rangers win, whether it's 1-0, 2-1, whatever way it is, they win ugly and they get their 3 points. And by that consistency of doing that week in, week out, that's what's catapulted them into a title race. They'll probably look at the Celtic game 3 weeks ago and think, well, 2-0 up, potentially could have been 3. Those 2 points that they dropped, I'm saying 2 points that they dropped, because they did drop 2 points, that would put them on 59 with 4 points behind Hearts, and things would probably look a bit more. And what I feel with Rangers is they've got players now that were questionable at the beginning of the season in terms of their performances, who are now actually starting to perform. I think the boy they brought in at left back, is it Romans? Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah. I think Big Fernandes for me will, don't want to say this, but I think he'll leave in the summertime because I think somebody's going to buy his potential. Yeah. I look at Mikey Moore, when he's dribbling with that ball and creating space and being free, how do you stop that? all you need is, and I'll reiterate again, and this is why probably Celtic and Rangers find themselves where they are, they don't have a consistent number 9 who's scoring the 25, 30 goals that Celtic and Rangers have always had. I say, had Rangers, this is going to sound mad, but had Rangers kept Cyril Dessers, they'd probably be top of the league.
They could have been champions for the first time in 5 years.
Because
sure.
for all his faults, he scored goals.
I know. Mark, final point, 30 seconds remaining. I see that Kasper Schmeichel says, I have to protect my body. He's withdrawn from Denmark duty. So that's the breaking news just now. I just see it there on the Sun Online. Because he has got an injury.
Yeah, he's not had that level of consistency that you would normally associate with him this season. Sinisala's in goals. I think he'll be the number one. He's a very able number one, and his aim, of course, will be to help Celtic to try and get a victory tomorrow.
That's it. Time's up, Kevin. Mark,
Cheers
thank
again,
you so
Paul.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mark.
We're back on Monday night. Wow, what will the story be then? But hopefully, and I'm sure we will be talking about the football. Wherever you're going this weekend, enjoy it. We're back on Monday at 5.